G'day and welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I have another information video for you, something that one of those things I presume most people know, and we'll find out who does or who doesn't. But really, it's really about helping people with a not uncommon problem. The problem I'm talking about. Well, this rifle I've set up in a situation which is exactly that. And what I'm talking about is it's a stuck case. This happens in various forms. It can happen in factory loads, it generally happen with hand loads, and it's generally talking about a brass problem or an overpressure problem is what we're talking about. And what that is a piece of stuck brass. If you see this here, there seems to be nothing in there, but if you go forward, see it goes clunk. What that's for is a piece of brass in the chamber. Now this happens in multiple ways. Like I said, generally in overpressure, generally that brass is stuck. And you'll feel it from a tight bolt lift, and sometimes a tight bolt lift people will knock it up, or you'll knock it up, and then it'll extract, it'll come out. Other times, and that actually is a little bit about the strength of the extractor and the different systems. Other times, like this one here, it's a Remington 700, where you'll knock the bolt up, and what'll actually happen is as it goes in its little cam over bit, which pulls it out, it actually pulls the extractor over the edge. The extractor bumps over the top, and the bolt will come out and there's no brass in there. So if you didn't realise that you're rushing, you try and put another round in there, it won't feed. It just won't go in at all because there's a piece of brass in there. Now, in the instances where your extractor will pull it out and you can yank on that handle and bash on that handle, that isn't an ideal way to do this either. But that can get you out. The better way to do it, and in this situation here, when that piece of brass is stuck in there, well, how do you get it out? Some people are just going to go home, some people are going to take it to the gunsmith. The simple way to get it out, and that's even when the bolt is, like I said, the bolt is still attached, so the extractor's got hold of it, but that is with a tool like this. Now this is simply a push through, which has got I've taken one of the mops and I've cut it off, and so I've just got a piece of brass on there. So I'll give you a close-up of that, but that just screws on there, ends up with a nice flat surface. This is also a tool I use for measuring my overall length, and I have a couple of them, a little one which is down for less than 6 mil. This is the larger one. Both are Teflon coated, but they end up where I've got this reasonably heavy push-through rod with this flat end on it, nothing else on it. Now I'll move the rifle to where you can see things. As you can see, there is nothing in the chamber. I've got it open and it has been fired. You wouldn't do this with a live round. You don't want to leave this in here in this situation, but this has gone bang. I saw my impact, everything worked. I pop up the bolts come back and no piece of brass. So then I take this push through, which has got the straight end on it. I carefully, very carefully, you don't want to damage your crown at all, very important, but I carefully come down, once again being very careful till I get that's into the chamber, and then a simple little tap like that, light fingers, light tapping, and that works like a little slide hammer and knocks that brass back into the chamber. So there it is down there. Easy way to get it out on this one is pull it out through there, and there's that piece of brass out, done. Now like I said, that works the same when you've lifted the bolt and it doesn't want to pull out. You can actually damage your extractor. Extractors have been broken. I'll move that back over the center. Well, actually, first of all, what I'll do, you can see that push through has gone right through. Now I'll carefully take it out. Make sure you never leave a push through in there. That's a devastating effect when you go and whack a new round in there and fire it. There's lots of damage happens in that situation. But what I was going to say was, even when you've got when the bolts, if it lifted up, you got it up and it doesn't want to pull out at that point, rather than yanking on your bolt and damaging your bolt, damaging the extractor, doing all the damage you can do just like that with the bolt lifted so it's not locked, put it in the same place and go tap, 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 they're pulling it back out until it comes with the bolt side of things. So using it like a little slide hammer, just light feels, doesn't need to be fisted and bashed, all that sort of stuff. It's tap, 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 you'll feel it move as it actually comes out. So with no effort, the brass has then extracted. Deal with whatever your issue is and make sure it's not getting back to that place. But that's just something I thought I'd show. As I said, I expect most people know this. It's not new. You've seen it before. But if you haven't, that's the way to do it. and this is a super valuable tool. Like I said, I always carry a couple of them in my truck. That's how I do things. I also use it to measure with bits of tape on there. I measure my overall length. Very simple, very quick way to do things by going down the front there. As said, with this, be very careful. You don't, even though this is brass, you don't want to hit it hard at all. You don't want to rub against the crown. The most important part of your barrel. So very delicate, very careful hands down there when you do have to do this sort of stuff. You don't want to end up with a damaged barrel out of being a little bit of carelessness. But with care, you can do that properly. And like I said, very valuable tool, part of the kit that we always have with us. And I use it, like I said, just in in setting up a round, I use these tools as well. They are Teflon coated. I always try and make sure I don't like raw steel ones. Even though your barrel is hard steel and mild steel, in theory there's no wear, that sort of stuff. I much prefer a clean Teflon coating, but that is a clean Teflon coating. Be aware for guys that understand push rods and that also understand using cleaning rods and that type of thing, that if you do a lot of cleaning with stuff and potentially get a little bit of black grime in it, that black grime can turn into an abrasive. You can essentially be using a bit of sandpaper by impregnating Teflon coated units with the carbon sort of stuff. So in a lot of cases, people who clean a lot will go back to clean steel, stainless steel generally, or softer steel, in clean steel that can't impregnate with the harder carbons and things like that. But for my purposes, what I do, the little bit of cleaning I do, and for this sort of job, the Teflon, that gives me nice comfort in what I'm doing. Like I said, gentle hands, but a very simple little slide hammer to get out that piece of brass that just caused you grief at the range. And then, like I said, go and sort out whatever was going on. Anyway guys, that's a very quick one today. Just a little tip as to a way to get around that problem. Thanks for checking in guys. Catch you next time.